Jim Harbaugh said something yesterday that makes us believe that Brock Bowers will be available at 15 for the Colts. Will Chris Ballard make the move? And more about comments that he made about the Colts. And we'll talk about the Hoosiers all on this episode. Let's get right into it.
Watford 3 on the way. Oh!
Hello, guys, and thank you once again for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for being here and being part of this Indiana Hoosiers and Colts community on here. So today we have a lot to break down. What's going on with the Colts? What's going on with the Hoosiers? We had news. Gabe Cupps coming back to Indiana, and I also have something pretty cool that he's doing right here in Fort Wayne. And also, WARE goes to the NBA. We'll talk a little bit about that, what that means for the Hoosiers, what that means for everything with the transfer portal with them. And then we'll talk about Chris Ballard at the top of the show today. What decisions is he making? What did he say in an interview? And I got another interview, some clips lined up from him, what he said in an interview a few days ago about the team and about the players. Do we believe that Chris Ballard is making all the right decisions for the Colts, or is he leaving a lot out there on the table to be desired? And we're just going to talk about all that and more on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. But if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button down below. This is an Indiana Hoosiers and Colts community, so leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about the program. Tell me what you think about the Colts and the Hoosiers and where they are heading. We are into the offseason now with both of these programs, and we're going to have a lot to break down heading up to the draft and with the transfer portal with the Indiana Hoosiers. We're going to find out a lot about these teams in the next weeks here, how this is going to shake out for next year's teams. So subscribe to the channel. We talk about the Hoosiers and the Colts on here, and we have a giveaway, home field apparel. I will be giving away home field apparel at 750 subscribers. Most likely this video will hit 750. So if you comment down below, you will be entered to win the home field apparel, and I will send the shirt to you. You get whatever shirt you want. Any college shirt from Home Field Apparel, get on there. And even if you want a Colts shirt, we can make that arrangement as well. So subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and you will be entered to win. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's first get into talking about the Indianapolis Colts. All right, so Chris Ballard, he has not made any real splash moves in free agency, which is leaving a lot of the fan base feeling really kind of frustrated with, like, he didn't bring in Snead last week. That's the reason why I didn't make a video about Snead. I saw, Bring the Juice and many different channels and different things were saying, is this guy going to come to the Colts? And it ended up not happening. I didn't really want to bring that up because I didn't really think it was going to happen. And it turned out to be right. I like these videos to provide you with some value and sometimes just all this speculation of players that, look, Chris Ballard, he is who he is, damn it, and he is not going to change his ways for anybody. He has a system, he has a certain way of thinking about things, and he is not going to change that way of thinking until he gets to the point where maybe he feels like he is on the hot seat and he's got to make some moves. But until that happens, Chris Ballard is not going to change anything. Have a clip from him talking about why he brought so many players back. Hillbilly Monkey, do we have that clip of Chris Ballard? Can we go ahead and roll that clip?
I'm not your slave. Here's your clip, you SOB.
All right, here it is.
Obviously, you can always, continue roster construction, roster building into the season. It's not set in stone yet. But why was it important to retain so many pieces on defense, specifically with Taekwon, Grover, Kenny, those guys all coming back?
Well, look, they're all been really good players for us. And, being able to get all three of those guys back into the fold, we were really excited about. All three of them had other opportunities, and, luckily, we were able to get a deal done to get them back. And I don't think you can underestimate continuity. And being in the scheme another year, how much that's going to help, not only them personally, but also the team.
So you can see continuity is so critical to Chris Ballard, and he is not going to go away from that. And wherever you work, no matter what you do, continuity is going to play a major role. Like if you have people that work where you work that maybe they do a lackluster job or anything, it's going to be a lot harder to bring somebody in from the outside and retrain them and teach them all about the culture. I get it somewhat. But the Colts, what they need some dynamic playmakers. So something that Jim Harbaugh said in an interview talking about his offensive line leads you to believe that the Chargers are not going to take Brock Bowers at number 5. Many people did speculate that they would take him at number 5, considering Harbaugh's practically had a mass exodus from the receiving room there at the Chargers since he got there. But he had something very interesting to say. Let's run that clip of Harbaugh and what he said.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line to me is important. I mean, if I asked you the question of what position group depends on no other position group to be good, but every other position group depends on them to be good, what position group is that? Offensive line. They're not relying on any other position group to be good. They go out and they're good. But yet every other position group relies on the offensive line to be good.
So, yeah, I thought that was really interesting. The offensive line is the only group that every other group is relying on. And he went on to say, defensive linemen on my teams will say, the offensive line doesn't affect me that much. It's like, well, when the offense has a 12-play drive, doesn't that affect the defense? So he is right. The offensive line is very important. Chris Ballard knows that, and the Colts have paid offensive linemen tons and tons of money to perform at somewhat of a mediocre rate over the past couple years. Even though last year, I believe the line did get a little bit better. What does this all mean? The Chargers, if they don't take Brock Bowers, if he is available at 15, I believe that Chris Ballard has to take him at 15. If he trades back, or even, I don't believe they need a corner in the first round. I believe we can get Brock Bowers at number 1, and we can go after a corner in the second round, and maybe even move up to get the right corner. But I do believe for a young quarterback and for a young team that the Colts have on offense, bringing back Pittman, bringing back Jonathan Taylor, I just believe having that dynamic player at the tight end position. And also, Chris Ballard, keep in mind, once you get Brock Bowers, I believe you can make a trade and get rid of Mo Alley-Cox and Granson. You could get rid of both of those guys and just maybe have Mallory and Brock Bowers. It's one of the things that I believe happens with the Colts is that when we have Mo Alley-Cox out there, he's a good blocker. It tips our hand that we are running the ball in those situations. If you have a more dynamic tight end out there, like a Kelsey or like a Gronkowski, that can block, catch passes, and do all of those things, it makes your offense in the NFL that much harder to defend because you just don't know what's going to happen play to play to play. And that is where it's at. It's just a dynamic playmaker at the tight end position would change the game for Anthony Richardson, for everything with this Colts offense. I believe it would make Pittman a better player. I believe it would leave Alec Pierce more one-on-one opportunities on the outside so that maybe he could have a breakout year. And also Josh Downs, we know how good he played this last year. I just think that adding one more piece to the offense in that tight end position, and we've always had great tight ends at the Colts, so I really want to see this happen. Hearing Harbaugh say that they weren't going to take Brock Bowers, they were probably going to go after Kevin Alt from Notre Dame at left tackle. That's who I believe the Chargers are going to take at the left tackle position. So the Colts, we pay Quentin Nelson a lot of money, and we kept Kenny Moore, and now these guys are going to be back. I don't believe Kenny Moore is a player at the position he's at, even though he's really good. I just don't think that position provides enough value to the team as compared to corner. I think we'd be much better off getting rid of Kenny Moore and trying to get a top-level corner or safety, because Kenny Moore he has played so well, he's kind of made a position for himself on the Colts. So good for him. That's just my opinion on it. Tell me what you think about all that in the comments down below. Hey, we will talk about the Indiana Hoosiers. So Khalil Ware goes to the NBA. That's not surprising at all. I don't really want to talk that much about it. I was listening to Locked On Hoosiers, Jacob Goins, and I could not have disagreed with him more. I mean, Khalil Ware, while at times he was our best player, he should not be the main focus of your entire offense. And I think that is a major reason why this team played much better when only Renew or only Ware were on the floor at the same time, because the spacing was much better for the Hoosiers. So I don't think it's that big of a loss as what people are making it out to be. And if you look at a lot of his games, when he went up against some of the better competition, even when we played against Maryland, he struggled mightily against Reese. He struggled mightily against other big guys in the Big Ten. So I don't think it's a huge loss for Ware leaving Indiana. Gabe Cupps is coming back, and also Gabe Cupps will be at Turnstone in Fort Wayne on Saturday for a charity. They do great work at Turnstone. If you don't know, they have the wheelchair basketball games there for the Paralympics and that stuff. So super cool. If you live in Fort Wayne or you live around here and you want to meet Gabe Cupps, he will be signing autographs there. So a great time. And also, I have reached out to him to have him on Indiana Sports Connection. So Gabe, come on the show, talk to me, answer some questions. I want to be part of your breakfast club. I want to go and work out 1 or 2 times with you and see what it's all about and be part of the Gabe Cupps Breakfast Club. He was on an interview the other day, and I believe I have a clip from him on here about what his dad told him. Let's run that clip of what Gabe Cupps' dad told him when he played for his dad in Ohio at Centerville High School.
I think my mindset is really like, I can be hard on myself because I know I can handle it. And I know that me being hard on myself is really just motivation for me to do better in the future. So like when I'm saying that after the game, like all that's on my mind is how hard I'm going to work throughout the summer, how much better I'm going to get. And, I think if you don't have those setbacks and you're just always, acting like everything's sunshine and rainbows, then, you don't have any drive or any hunger to get better. I think my dad always told me in high school, like, everything's your fault. So like
everything's your fault. So Gabe, he said some real comments on there that I thought were really great. This guy is a really hard worker. And he also said Ja'Kai Newton is maybe going to join his breakfast club. Look, in my opinion, if you go out there and you lose 12 games in the season like Indiana did, I think they all should be out there. 5 a.m. workouts all summer, and let's see where they can be. Gabe Cupps, he is getting it done, and I'm glad he's coming back to Indiana. He is one of the true guys, and he said on his X page, that just X or Twitter, that when he committed to Indiana, he said he was going to be there 4 years. I can't tell you how refreshing that is to know that that is his mentality. Gabe Cupps is a real old school type of player that, yeah, he's going to commit and he's going to be there for 4 years. So I appreciate that about him. Great player for IU. All I would say to you is this, Gabe, let it fly. Next year, we need you to shoot more 3-pointers. That has got to be in the cards for the Hoosiers to improve next year. Gabe Cupps is going to have to be shooting with more confidence from the outside. And I believe he's going to find that through hard work and determination. Gabe Cupps is a guy really, really getting it done. Check out his page on Hoosiers.com. You can buy shirts on there. You can buy Gabe Cupps Breakfast Club shirts and all kinds of stuff out there. That puts money directly into his pocket. So check that out. If you're into that type of stuff, you can get these Hoosier Hero shirts on there as well. I think it's just good news for the Hoosiers. A lot going on with the transfer portal. Until the season is officially over, we're going to have a lot more players going in there. But one guy to keep your eye on from Auburn, Cade Johnson from Auburn. I believe that's his name, Kevin. but he is a guy that I would love to see in an IU uniform. Played for Bruce Pearl, just a really intense guy. He tore us up, and we could not match his energy out there. If we could get this guy to come to Indiana, he is a top-notch guard. I love his playing style. Just would love to see this guy come to Indiana. Can we make it happen? He's just one in the transfer portal that I've been looking at and thinking, man, I like to watch this guy play. I love his grit, tenacity, and everything he brings to the table. The Hoosiers have a lot of work to do between now and May 1st when the transfer portal closes. It's going to be very interesting what Mike Woodson, and hey, he's going to be here next year, so I'm not making any more Fire Mike Woodson videos. It's going to come when it comes, and he's got to get this done right now to bring Indiana to the level it really needs to be. And I want to thank my sponsor, NordVPN. Hey everybody, and thanks for watching. Is it just me, or does it seem like everybody is getting hacked these days? Every time I log on to Facebook or something, I see like crypto messages from people. These days, I think that cybersecurity is just as important as physical security. NordVPN uses next level encryption to keep your data safe. Stuff that I don't understand, but they do. This is especially important when I'm traveling and I'm on public Wi-Fi so that people can't steal all of my videos. I'm sure many of you will be traveling this summer for the holidays, so before you go out of town, get NordVPN and protect your computer. Click the link in the description down below and get the low price of $1.29 a day through my special promo code, and thank you for watching. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. We talked more about the Colts. We got the Hoosiers. They have a lot to do. Everybody does. So it's a great time in the offseason to really see how the teams are going to shake out. And this will fly by from now until the draft and then through the summertime. But we are going to see what is going to happen with the teams right now. It's a very exciting time to be involved with the Colts or Indiana basketball. So thank you so much for being here and joining me. And until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosiers and Colts fans.
Are we gonna do what they say can't be done?